You see, the goal Patanjali, this master, has clearly defined in the first 4 sutras that we had a couple of months ago. He says that emptying the mind of its content, emptying the mind of its content leads to knowledge of the reality. And the knowledge of the reality is real self. And the real self is unlimited, infinite, permanent peace and happiness. So until we experience that state, we continue to practice. Second point, then, in the couple of sutras, possibly from the 5th to 11th, if I remember correctly. So that sutra says, here are the distractions. So those distractions are categorized as 3 subjective states. 3 subjective states: wandering, occasionally steady, and forgetfulness mind. Forgetfulness is also a distraction because I forget something. I'm not able to focus. And the 5 objective states of the mind. Means all these thoughts are categorized into 5. So the last few weeks, we understand that now it is the distraction which is causing the problem. The distractions which prevents me to know the reality. So these distractions I have just explained are millions of thoughts, 5 objective states, 3 subjective states, and they prevent me to know the reality. That reality, that real self is already within me. So then Master gave a detailed account as to what happens behind that distraction. What happens? They are known as obstacles. So we already covered 9 obstacles. I don't feel like doing it. I'm awfully busy and blah, blah, long. I feel heaviness in the body and the mind. So what happens in all these 9 obstacles? We stop, our thinking stops. We do not think. I gave one example. I feel heaviness in the body and the mind. So my mind should ask the next question. Oh, does the weight of the body increase? No. Weight of the mind increase? No. So where do you feel that heaviness? Where is the heaviness? I don't feel like doing it. Come on, why? We don't ask. So when you do not ask, these obstacles will remain. And that will also disturb our personal, professional, social life. And you say, oh, can you grab me a glass? Oh, no, I don't feel good. Better you take it. You see that? So you look at the way the Patanjali is explaining the very subtle elements which is happening in the mind. Then he comes down to Om meditation that removes all the obstacles. And then we came to, do you still remember, friendliness, compassion, happiness, and equanimity. So you see that more and more Patanjali is going at a subtler level. Then you can create a question of today's sutra that we covered half last time. Vishayavati va rupanna manasah sthiti nibandhani. Now question will be, no, I'm not able to take my mind away from the objects of the senses. So other people may argue, no, come on, I see the beauty. What's the problem? You see that? I see the beauty. What's the problem? So the Patanjali is making us aware where you see the beauty. First point. And then he see beauty, keep the beauty as it is, and leave that object. Are you understanding? Two part. Keep the taste, leave the food that you get the taste. So the food is an object, beauty, the person with the beauty is an object. Do you see that? So 5 sense objects and 5 attributes of that object. Shape and the form. Shape and the form has a sight. Sight has a color. Do you see the color? Look at it. So when mind is attached to these objects, that is the problem. So pravrittir rupanna. Pravrittir means my mind is going back again and again and again and again to that person who is beautiful. So Patanjali says, can you become aware of the beauty? You know the beauty in your mind. Is it not a fact? You know the taste of a food in the mind. Do you see that? That is the most beautiful. So you are looking at a person who is beautiful, and now you forget yourself. You are carried away by that object. So now that beauty converts into sensuality. Are you getting it? But now you keep your awareness on the beauty alone. And the beauty is experienced in the mind. So instead of the mind is going outside, it will go inside. It will remove obstruction. It will remove obstructions. This is the objective of this sutra. So primary goal is to remove the distraction. So distraction means the mind is running outside on any object or the objects of the 5 sense organs. You're going outside, you look at a beautiful person, mind becomes aware. Oh, beauty is experienced in my mind. So sensuality is dropped, attachment is dropped. Do you see that? See how beautiful the understanding of the nature of the mind, but from that very attachment, you withdraw the mind, and that fills your mind with the happiness, cheerfulness that we have already discussed before. The mind lives now in the cheerfulness. Why? Now the mind does not desire to possess and own that object. You see that? Why the mind is running? Why there is a distraction? Why? Now see, Sam was just talking that, what color I see the orange color or yellow color or right color. Do you want to own it? I want to own an object that contains the red color. So that very attachment is not there. So instead of pravrti means outward going mind. Nivrati means inward moving mind. Can we start living into that state all the time? in a waking state. So what happens? The mind remains cheerful all the time. Now it is not obsessed, attached. Now this master, the commentator of this sutra, explains little differently. He says you should know the locus. You should know the locus or the center of the attributes of the five sense organs. So attributes of the five sense organ means that at the tip of the nose, I can experience the fragrance or the smell of anything that you imagine or you recall from memory. Do you know the smell of a rose flower or lotus or sandalwood? Do you know the smell? Yes, I know it. Tell me, how do you know it? I have experienced in the past, but how do you know it? So I record from my memory. So what happens when the focus is at the tip of the nose at the time of answering? What will happen? After some time, you will actually experience that smell. Without sandalwood, without rose flower. So now this mind need not to run after the objects to experience. So attachment is not there, and the mind lives into the state of the cheerfulness. I believe you are getting it. That very subtle, but not very difficult. So when the tip of the tongue, taste. Upper palate, spatial color and form. Any color in the form that we see during meditation or otherwise, the locus is on the palate. The middle of the tongue, spatial touch and sensation. And the root of the tongue is the sound. Root of the tongue. Oh, I see Om. I feel that sound going on. So the locus is at the root of the tongue. Again, remember, goal is to purify the mind to remain in the state of cheerfulness to succeed in meditation. Not to demonstrate this as, oh, I got the power. Yes, I should talk. So when you regularly practice, what will happen that if food is lying on the dining table and you see to it, your mind will feel the taste of that food even without touching it. But we should not pay too much attention. We should not start demonstrating this. Otherwise, the mind will be distracted. Warns the master. See how beautiful the sutra is. So now what you should be doing the moment the mind says, what a wonderful sight. Become aware. Bring your mind to the palate. Color in the form in the sight. Taste. What a beautiful taste. Don't bring your mind outside. Continue eating the food, but bring your mind at the tip of the nose. 5 sense organs, 5 locus. Is it possible? We normally forget this. We normally forget. Oh, you are very handsome. You are very beautiful. Your shirt is very good. You see that? So the mind now is absorbed into an object. So when it is absorbed into the object, distraction is a natural result. Attachment is a natural result. Mind is outside. I cannot succeed. So from that comes another aspect. That do we need to go to woods or the Himalayas to practice meditation? No. We can do the practice of meditation during the entire waking state. And I can tell you, even if you see your honey with that eye, the relationship will be deeper. But if you look at your honey with an eye of sensuality all the time, you know what happens. You see, everything, the life, the perception of the world changes completely. Now, those objects in the world are not the objects of utility. You know, we have been talking about utilitarian, the word that we have been using it. That will go away from the mind, and the mind will remain so cheerful, calm, happy, and peaceful. Yes, but this practice can only be done if we are a seeker. And do you remember the 5 attributes of a seeker? Or you have forgotten? Let me remind you, it is Shraddha, the faith we discussed in detail. Virya, energy is enthusiasm. Smriti, the right memory. If you remember this principle, you see the right memory? Samadhi, I'm practicing regularly, and that I start living into a higher consciousness. So don't create an ego. If I make a statement, you start living above the society in terms of your consciousness. You do not belong to the herd, still living into the same herd. Yeah? Everyone is talking of the utility. You also talk about it, but your mind is always cheerful. You are living above it. So it means what? Your perception of the world has changed. And that perception will surely help you succeed in the ultimate goal. Subtle perception of the through the sense organ. You see me, mind may see me through different thoughts and impressions in your mind. Your way of seeing depends on your mind. I remember almost maybe in 88 or 89, 1988, or I used to spend a lot of time, months, in together with my master. So my master used to send me to the different other masters who are living nearby. So I recall the 2 masters have a different perception, but a message is clear. So one master, he had a very long beard, maybe around 2 feet. So I said, what a beautiful beard. It normally comes out of your mouth. So he looked into my eyes and he said, longer the beard, greater the suspicion. Longer the beard, greater the suspicion. Means now you are convinced because of long beard. Now I am not explaining. I don't know anything. I will give you a mantra and I say you. Now you already believe me. So do this mantra. I don't explain to you. You are carried away by that impression. So then he said, never be convinced by something that you see outside in an object. Right? Another master has different interpretation. He said, longer the beard, greater the wisdom. So I have to become aware. I have to be aware of this. Now I have short beard. I have a short wisdom. So you have to find someone else who has a longer beard. You see that? The perception has to be guided by knowledge. If that is not guided by the knowledge, then I create a problem to myself. He has a long beard, and let us, I heard that he has been living there for many years, so hence he can guide me. He is living in the Himalayas. People are living in the Himalayas for nothing. There are many people out there. They found that they cannot do anything in the material world, so they started begging there in those Himalayas. So normally in remote places, when you have a couple of monastery, in those monastery, the food is served totally free of cost, 3 times. Now I am dull and lazy. So let me wear a orange cloth, let me grow my beard, so I can have food for 3 times. And you go there and you see he is a great master. He has been living in the Himalayas for 20 years. So that is another pointer master is saying. Your goal should be fixed. You should remember the goal when you approach to any teacher. Otherwise, what happens? You exploit the teacher and teacher exploits you. Do you understand that? What a long beard you have. You have grown these beard in the Himalayas, yes, as if these beard are not grown in the society. Our focus should be on the knowledge part. On the knowledge, our focus should be on the goal. So now come to the color and the form and that is so the tongue should touch the upper palate. That is one reason. You see, even in Kundalini meditation, now we have a clarity of understanding rather than Kundalini where is guided by some people explain. I have seen on the Google, but that is against the understanding of our teachers. So normally when we explain the sattvic color, there are 3 gunas. The sattvic colors are white, gold, violet, blue. So they represent balance, peace, happiness. Then there are Rajasic colors. They are stimulating colors: yellow, red, orange, purple. Rajasic colors enhance stimulation and activity in the mind. And then comes the Tamasic color. They are dark, dull, and muddy colors. Maybe brown, dark brownish, black, gray. But it does now see that why I don't want to explain further in detail, because now I always see the dark color, it means I am a tamasic person. No. The first level of the darkness is a projection of mind. It may be an absence of all the thoughts. So we should not focus on too much on these visions and colors. They come, share your experiences, understand it. Goal is removing all the distractions, live into the state of cheerfulness so that we can succeed in meditation. We will go to another beautiful session, that how that can be done easily. This step can be easily applied to bring an end to all the anxiety, duality, conflict, and depression. So let us start our practice of meditation now.